So Euro 2020 has come to an official close, sadly, but the discussion is not over yet. Today it's time to announce my Euro 2020 team of the tournament that, spoiler alert, doesn't include the Golden Boot winner. I don't even know if that's allowed. I don't even know if I'm allowed to make a team of the tournament without including the player who scored the most goals. But that is the nature of things. Stick around to see who I did include in my Euro 2020 Best 11. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Will Fowler. So happy to see you again. So happy to have you back. If you're new, first and foremost, thanks for being curious. Thanks for popping your head in. Stick around, get comfortable, kick your feet up, and if you enjoy what you see in the next few minutes, consider hitting that like button, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. So, sadly, Euro 2020 is officially now in the rearview mirror. But what a fantastic tournament it was. It was from literally kickoff, from when Italy and Turkey took the pitch back on what, June 11th. What a fantastic tournament it's been, with the drama, the emotion, the storylines. So much to talk about. I think one of the best European championships in recent memory. And because I haven't quite figured out how I'm now going to spend my days, spend my early afternoons without any European championships to watch, you bet your ass I'm going to milk everything out of this tournament that I possibly can. In today's video, I'll be giving my Euro 2020 team of the tournament. Who were the standout players at each position? Let's talk about it. We'll make it a 4-3-3, and let's start in goal. And goal is always, I think, the toughest position to pick for a team of blank. A team of the tournament, team of the year, team of the season, whatever. But I think even still, at Euro 2020, it comes down to two for me. Both were playing in the final. It's Gianluigi Donnarumma and Jordan Pickford, but I think Donnarumma was just a step ahead of his English counterpart. Donnarumma, I felt like every time his name was called in a big moment, he made the save he needed to make, particularly against Belgium and against Spain. And in the penalty shootouts, he faced 9 penalties across 2 penalty shootouts in the semifinal and the final, and he saved 5 of them. That is absurd. Plus 1.5 post-shot expected goals, which is the best out of any goalkeeper that made it out of the group stage, aside from Thibaut Courtois, which shows you that Donnarumma's shot-stopping ability was well above your average goalkeeper. I think he is the, not one of, I think he is the most informed goalkeeper on the planet at the moment. He's on the move for PSG, and he was crowned the Euro 2020 Player of the Tournament by UEFA. Just a fantastic tournament for the Italian goalkeeper, and I think he's pretty clearly my goalkeeper of the tournament. So let's go to left back. This was really tough, and again, I was going between two. I was going between Denmark's Joachim Maehle and England's Luke Shaw, but I think for me, Luke Shaw's performance in the final, even if England lost, sealed it. He didn't start in match day 1 against Croatia. He started every match since, and he was really brilliant, linking up with Raheem Sterling, making plays down the left flank all tournament long. He, of course, scored the opening goal in the final. Don't look at his performance in the final as just the one goal, because he was fantastic throughout. 1 goal that came in the final, 3 assists throughout the tournament, created more chances than anybody in this England squad, which when you look at the creative ability in this England attack, the fact that Luke Shaw topped that charts is really impressive, and of course part of that England defense that conceded once from open play throughout the entire tournament. So tough between Shaw and Maehle, but I think it has to be Luke Shaw. 2 center backs, one of them, at least for me, is very obvious. It's Giorgio Chiellini for Italy. He was in a class of his own this tournament, and I think entering this competition, I know I certainly had my concerns. I think a lot of people had their concerns with this Italy defense, specifically the pairing with Chiellini and Bonucci. Would they be up for it? Would they be quick and strong enough for it? And Chiellini absolutely was. Chiellini was the best defender, bar none, in this competition. He was the reason why Italy won the final, and that is not sensationalism or hyperbole. Watch the match over again, and how many times did Chiellini make that last man tackle or get in the way of a shot or something? Chiellini is the reason why England didn't score 3 or 4 against Italy in the final on Sunday. Of course, wore the captain's armband. Had a lot of fun with it as well, especially in those penalty shootouts. The man just loves the sport. I mean, the man just loves playing the game of football. Again, a lot of question marks about this Italy defense entering the tournament, and Chiellini made them all look so silly, just like that. Now to my second center back, and this is where it got a bit tougher. I've got three who you can make real arguments for. The first is Chiellini's partner, Leonardo Bonucci, who scored in the final. Also, Harry Maguire, I think, was fantastic, but I think I'm gonna go diving a little bit for my second center back, because there is a player who I think deserves a lot of recognition for the way he played, but isn't really getting it, and that's Aymeric Laporte. Laporte was not even a member of the Spanish national team, 2 or 3 months ago. He was still playing for Didier Deschamps and France. He comes to Spain, he earns his starting position alongside Pau Torres and Eric Garcia, and he's so quickly become Spain's most important defender, not just out of possession. He is fantastic out of possession, but mainly what he does with the ball at his feet. Laporte was a player who would drive forward with the ball. He would drive into space, especially when he was playing alongside Eric Garcia as that left center back. In terms of progression and yards progressed, he was the most progressive player at Euro 2020 by a wide margin, by a really, really, really wide margin. Laporte, so crucial to what Spain wanted to do when they were in possession of the ball. And we know how dominant they were when they were in possession of the ball. This was a side that liked to have 65, 70% of possession. They were let down by poor finishing, and I think all of us understand that. But the way Spain played in the progression and build-up phases in the game, Aymeric Laporte was maybe the most important player in allowing Spain to be so consistently good on that front. We'll fill out this defense with the right back, and right back I think was the most difficult of the four defensive positions to select, because there weren't a whole lot of right backs who were exceptional and also went deep enough to be considered for a team of the tournament. I think Denzel Dumfries for the Netherlands would have been the lock here if they weren't dumped in the round of 16. I've been seeing some people put Joachim Maehle here at right back, which, I don't know, it feels like cheating because he spent all of his time for Denmark on the left. I was impressed by Giovanni Di Lorenzo for Italy, but I think the player I'm going to go for here is the one who lined up on the opposite side of him in the final, and that's Kyle Walker. Of course, another part of that fantastic England defense that only conceded once from open play all tournament long. And what I liked about Kyle Walker at this tournament was his versatility and also his consistency. He was quietly one of the most consistent players that England had in the team from match day 1 up until the cup final. And his versatility, he was deployed at times as a right back in a back 4 or as a right center back in a back 3 or a back 5. And he excelled at both of them. Just so consistent, so comfortable defensively, and also so versatile, as we talked about. Walker slotted into the defense nicely when England were out of possession. He made plays defensively, won the ball back for his side, but then in possession as well. He was not afraid to get up the pitch and advance and use his pace to make some things happen in the middle and final third. So Kyle Walker, my team of the tournament, right back. Not a whole lot of right backs to choose from, but I think Kyle Walker was the best. Let's get into the midfield, and we'll start with the player who I think, now that it's over, now that we can look back on it from a bird's eye view, Jorginho might have been Italy's most important player out of anybody on the pitch. More important than Lorenzo Insigne or Marco Verratti or even Chiellini or Donnarumma. Jorginho was so central to everything Italy wanted to do this summer. Defensively, he was the player that sat in front of Giorgio Chiellini and Leonardo Bonucci, and defensively, he was fantastic. The most interceptions out of any player ever at a European Championship. He was impossible to dispossess. He was really, really strong on the ball, and he just dictated play for Italy, because we saw Verratti and we saw Barella play in more advanced positions. Of course, the fullbacks wanted to get high up the pitch, and when Italy were progressing from defense to attack, and everybody was trying to get into their positions and move up the pitch, Jorginho was the one who just slowed the game down. The game looked like it moved in slow motion when Jorginho was on the ball. Hardly put a foot wrong across all 7 matches. So fantastic, so composed, and so consistent from that deep-lying playmaker role. Relax with the Ballon d'Or shots. Relax with the Jorginho Ballon d'Or shots. I get it. He won the European Championships. He won the Champions League. He was fantastic. He was maybe the best player at this tournament. Enough with the Ballon d'Or shots. He's not even the best midfielder at Chelsea. There, I said it. That's N'Golo Kante. But that doesn't take away from the fact that he was brilliant for Italy at this tournament. My second midfielder is another London-based midfielder, another London-based defensive midfielder. And I think Denmark deserved representation, and if there's anybody who's going to represent Denmark in this team of the tournament, it has to be Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. Very simply, Højbjerg did everything for this Denmark side. He was a massive presence defensively, and particularly in the semifinal against England. He was everywhere on the pitch. When Denmark were in possession, he was that metronome that would dictate play, and similar to Jorginho, just the game would slow down, and you could tell his reading and understanding of the game was so above everybody else in this Denmark side when he had the ball at his feet. He was also that big physical body in midfield who would make interceptions, win the ball back, and when he did win it back, he would direct play for a Denmark side that again reached the European Championship semifinal without their best and most creative player in Christian Eriksen. We were wondering where, or who rather, would pick up the slack, who would take on Eriksen's responsibilities in this team, and it was largely Højbjerg. Højbjerg led this Danish side in assists with 3 key passes, shot and goal creating actions, interceptions. I mean, look at any analytic or any statistic in this Denmark side. Højbjerg is if he's not at the top, he's second or third. It's cliche to say, complete midfielder or he did everything, but Højbjerg, it's not cliche when we discuss Højbjerg with this Denmark side. He was so fantastic, a true box-to-box, all-round midfielder for Denmark at this summer's tournament, and really just a complete performance from match day 1 against Finland to the semifinal when Denmark were ultimately seen out. Rounding out the midfield, I'm going for another semifinalist, and I'm going for a player who is younger than probably everybody watching this video, and that is Pedri for Spain. This kid, 18 years old, played a full season with Barcelona, doesn't get any time off, balls out, bosses midfields, pulls strings for Spain in the Euros, and now he's getting on a plane to go to Tokyo for the Olympics to represent Spain there as well. And then when that's done, he's going to get back on the plane to the new camp and play for Barcelona. Pedri opened so many eyes at this tournament. He was brilliant. One of the most effective creative midfielders in the field, on the planet, in this competition. He was brilliant. He burdened so much of the creative responsibility for this Spanish side that prioritizes passing quickly and movements off the ball and keeping the ball as long as you possibly can. And the player who was most important to that was an 18-year-old kid. I mean, it cannot be overstated how valuable Pedri was to this Spanish squad. Match after match after match, he did something special with the ball at his feet. His fantastic passing range was on full display. I feel like every single time Spain were playing, I was on Twitter and I saw a different absurd Pedri pass or assist or chance created or whatever. Just the way that he disguises his passes, he disguises his movements. He keeps the defense constantly questioning where he's going to go with the ball. He can manipulate the ball into any space, or at least he did at this tournament for Spain. Pulled the strings, deservedly, he won Young Player of the Tournament. That might have been the easiest award for UEFA to hand out. That's how brilliant this wonder kid was for Spain at the Euros. Into the attacking 3, starting on the left, I'm going for England's Raheem Sterling. I think he was the standout. Him and Lorenzo Insigne, I think, are the two that you can really make cohesive arguments for. When England were not playing well in the group stage, at least when they were not playing well in attack, Sterling was the one who dragged them to the finish line. He dragged them to first place in the group. They scored twice, England did, in the group stage. Both of them came off the foot of Raheem Sterling, and then he scored the first goal, that crucial first goal against Germany in the round of 16. He was just so much fun to watch for England at this competition. A direct runner. He caused outside backs so many problems just with the way he would pick up the ball and run directly at you. Of course, he's unpredictable with the ball at his feet. He's got blistering pace when he chooses to tap into it. He was getting player of the tournament shouts. I think if England had won yesterday, then maybe those shouts would have a little bit more meat to them. But regardless, a player that deserves to be in that conversation just based on what he's done in attack for England. Absolutely, I think my team of the tournament left wing. On the right, I will go for another player who is playing in the Euro 2020 final, and actually a player who didn't even start on match day 1 because he wasn't fully fit, and that's Italy's Federico Chiesa, and the boost that he gave Italy when he returned to the 11, playing alongside Ciro Immobile and Lorenzo Insigne on the left side. You could see it. You could see the jolt that he gave. No disrespect to Domenico Berardi, because I thought he was fantastic for Italy when he played as well. But Chiesa is he's on a different level when he's at his best. Similarly to Sterling for England, he's just a very direct runner with the ball, unpredictable when he's got the ball at his feet, can go in any direction, can play with both feet, burning pace when he chooses to use it. He can pass the ball very, very well. I think he was the perfect counterpart. He complemented the game of Lorenzo Insigne on the left side perfectly, because Insigne on the left, you had a player who was a similar abilities, similar traits, very quick, very unpredictable, but liked to cut inside and get onto his right foot and could drop deep to create. Chiesa offered a nice counter to that, a winger who was very direct with his movements, would stay high up the pitch, liked to, for the most part, stay wide until at times he would cut centrally if Italy were setting up in the final third. He was the perfect complement to Lorenzo Insigne, and him being at his best was so important with Immobile not being at his best. Chudo Immobile, after match day one, was largely a passenger for Italy throughout this tournament, which makes the case for Chiesa in the team of the tournament that much stronger, because Italy won the competition mainly by the way they played an attack, with their talisman striker really not being at his best all tournament. Federico Chiesa showed up in the big moments as well, scored crucial goals against Austria and Spain in the knockout stage. Man of the match, I thought, against England in the final before he was removed through injury. Once he returned to the 11, one of Italy's most consistent players. So let's go to the striker now, because I know I teased that I didn't include the Golden Boot winner. It's not Cristiano Ronaldo, though I think you can make a very cohesive argument for it. There are other players you can go for. You could go for a player like Harry Kane, who did not do a whole lot in terms of end product in the group stage for England, but was very good in the knockout phase. You can go for a player like Kasper Dolberg, who didn't really get introduced to the Danish squad, the Danish 11, until the knockout phase, but once he did, he was fantastic. Allow me to offer you the only player in my team of the tournament who did not reach the semifinal. Patrik Schick for the Czech Republic is my team of the tournament striker. And the reason why was his consistency. He was quietly the most consistent striker in a tournament with so many top quality elite strikers with Kane, Immobile, Robert Lewandowski. Believe it or not, he was at one point in Euro 2020, even though he was in and out like that. So many quality strikers in this field, and Patrik Schick for the Czech Republic was the most consistent out of all of them. Scored 5 times, played 5 matches, only failed to score in one of those 5 matches. That was match day 3 against England, a 1-0 loss. He gave us one of the goals of the tournament against Scotland, that prayer from the halfway line against Scotland on match day 1. He was, and again, another cliche phrase to use, but I think with Schick we can use it, automatic, damn near automatic for the Czech Republic in this competition. Again, 5 matches played, scored goals in 4th of them, and I think he was the main reason why the Czech Republic were able to knock off the Netherlands in the round of 16 and advance to the quarterfinal and almost knock off Denmark. So there it is, my Euro 2020 team of the tournament. This was tough because there were so many players who I thought deserved recognition. That's what makes teams of the tournament so hard, is because you can only go for one player at each spot. I know I mentioned Joachim Maehle as a player who I wanted to find a spot for but couldn't. Leonardo Spinazzola I think would have been a lock for left back had he not gotten injured in the quarterfinal against Belgium. Harry Kane, Cristiano Ronaldo, both were fantastic. Marco Verratti was brilliant for Italy once he returned to 11 in match day 3. The England center midfield pairing of Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips both were thrilling. They were fantastic playing in front of the 2 center backs. It's so hard making lists like this. Emil Forsberg, how could I have forgotten Emil Forsberg? I was spending so much time trying to find a way to shoehorn Emil Forsberg into this team. But ultimately, a big factor for me is how far did they go. They could have been fantastic individually if they were knocked out in the round of 16. Then I thought their case kind of fell apart. Paul Pogba, another one of those players who was brilliant for a French squad that was largely underwhelming, but elimination in the round of 16 makes it tough to make a cohesive argument for it. Because how can you have a team of the tournament with players who only played in half the tournament? But that is my 11. I think I'm comfortable with it. I'm going to click and record, and I know I'm going to go in and probably change 1 or 2. That's just the nature of the way I think. But let me know in the comments what you agree with, what you disagree with. Let me know who's in your team of the tournament. I want to know, I want to see what you all think and where you think I went wrong and where you think I went right. If you liked what you saw, please go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell if you haven't already so you don't miss a single upload. I'm hoping to get an Olympics preview out before the games start on the 19th or the 20th, whenever. I'm going to start that one as soon as I upload this one. So be on the lookout for that Olympic preview, and hopefully we'll just continue steamrolling through with the content. I'm sure that I'll come out with some Gold Cup videos once we get into the latter stages of that competition, talking about the U.S. men's national team. But all of those things, you're not going to want to miss them, so hit that notification bell. Also, be sure to follow me on Twitter at WillFowler5. Follow London's Finest on Twitter, London's Finest QU. That is the show that me and two of my buddies do every single Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. in the UK, where we talk about the biggest stories, rumors, headlines in the world of the sport. So I will link both of those handles in the description below. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you all in the next video.